I just think that, what they were doing was triumphant, and also with their movies, they were doing things that even the movies in Hollywood weren't doing, because they were talking about civil rights, and they were talking about the inequalities that existed in current day, and they were talking about, fighting for justice, and they were telling stories about their current condition. So they were almost like they were documenting what was going on, and that was missing from mainstream movies. So they not only were they filmmakers, they were like social justice warriors, and so
Yeah.
what they were doing was very important.
Still are today, but
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
have it
in many
back
ways, in
then,
many
right?
ways,
Yeah,
yes, in
in
many ways,
different
yes,
ways. But
in different ways.
all right, I've got a bunch of other questions, but I want to get to my baseball themed questions first.
Okay, cool.
Professionally speaking, not your early days of playing center field, but professionally speaking, what's the biggest home run that you have hit? And maybe it's this project right now. I'm not sure.
No, it's the project that led to this project. I think my biggest professional home run was the creation of an event called a Celebration of Black Cinema that we first started doing in Kansas City back in 2006. It was an idea that was cultivated in the offices at Fox 4 News because they were looking for a way to engage with the Black community of Kansas City. And I was sitting in the meeting, and my contribution to the meeting was, why don't we do some sort of film event? Because that's all I knew. And I proposed that we do like a documentary on the history of Black film, just to kind of give people an idea of the history of Black filmmakers and all these beloved movies that, many Blacks have watched since day one. And Fox 4 said yes to the idea, and we got it done. And I produced this documentary with the assistance of Fox 4 News called The 100 Best Black Movies Ever. We showed it at the Gym Theater for the community for free. So many people came out, we had to turn people away, and that was the spark. And then we did it again in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. And I produced a new documentary each year. The first year was called The 100 Best Black Movies Ever. The second year I focused on Black comedy movies. You'll dig this. The third year I did the 25 best Black sports movies ever, which was fabulous. And then
What's number one on that list?
Remember the Titans was number one on that list. Yeah, remember the time. I mean, it's just, yeah. I remember. That's not. I was fair. I went around and asked other film critics, and remember the Titans came out to be number one. I mean, personally, y- yeah, I was a huge Brian song person. I thought that was really great. I also like the 2001 movie Ali. I think that movie's really underrated, starring Will Smith. I'm a huge fan of that. Um, I like Solo the Game. This predated 42. 42's now on my list. I thought 42 is an amazing
42
movie.
is excellent.
Yeah, Chad Boseman as Jackie Robinson. But this event predated that movie. And then the final year we did the 25 most romantic Black movies. So we did those. We made it free each year. We screened each movie at the Gym Theater, and the idea kind of faded, but it was born again out in LA, and we renamed it and we called it the Celebration of Black Cinema and Television, and we revived it in 2014, and that has opened up all kinds of doors for me. We're now on year 8. You can actually see it in Kansas City on February the 8th at 4 p.m. on Fox 4, or you can stream it right now. It's currently airing on Stars if you have a Stars subscription. Super proud of that event, but that event elevated me professionally. So that is without a doubt, the creation of that concept is my biggest professional home run. That's
Yeah.
not even a professional home run. That's been a professional grand slam, Game 7, bottom of the ninth.
Oof, doesn't get any better than that unless you do it again, and you never know. How about a swing and a miss along the way, and what did you learn from it?
There have been so many. There've been a ton of swing and misses. I've always wanted to do some sort of like major film festival in Kansas City, and have tried a couple of times, and like each time just have struck out. I don't even know if I've hit a single with those ideas. I just want to elevate the Kansas City film community, and I've tried a couple of times. We did the Urban Film Festival that kind of fizzled out. I tinkered around with the Juneteenth Film Festival that kind of really didn't get off the ground. I'm not sure if it's because there isn't a solid enough infrastructure or if we just haven't figured out how to like finance it correctly, or if there's even a public want or need for it, but it just hasn't worked. And I step up to the plate and swing and miss 3 times and go back and sit on the bench and try to figure it out.
That's all you can do. The last baseball theme question is small ball. Shoot, if you were watching those Royals, you were watching small ball, you were playing small ball. There's something, it's not all about the home runs. It's the little things. What is small ball to you?
Small ball to me is networking, because you never know who's going to give you that next opportunity. Like my whole career has been based on unexpected, opportunities. But with those opportunities, you have to be prepared to take advantage of the moment, because if the door opens and you walk through that doorway and you're not ready, it doesn't mean anything anyway. But you have to stay connected. Like when I first started off as a staff writer at the Pitch Weekly, it's because an unexpected door opened, but I was ready to write. Fox 4 News, the door open. I had to, because it was purely accident. Like I was minding my own business and the opportunity came, but I had to be ready to seize the moment. But it was because all of these things happen because of networking, because you meet people and you don't know when those people are going to come back into your life. And you have to be so prepared for that, but you never know who's who. And I kind of learned this from Buck O'Neill, where you got to be friendly and engage with everyone, even if it's
Totally.
somebody you meet on the man. You could be on the bus stop, you could be on the subway, you could be at the airport. Like that's through I've met so many people on an airplane where you just coincidentally are sitting next to someone and you strike up a conversation. I remember that happened with Chase McNulty. We were both on a Southwest flight, and he had a backpack, and he started talking to me about how he was going to start a t-shirt line. And he showed me this t-shirt. This is a long time ago. He showed me a t-shirt, and he pulled it out, and it had a heart on it and KC in the middle. He's like, "This is my shirt," and I'm trying to launch it. And I was like, "Well, man, I work at Fox. Like, give me a couple of shirts. I'll wear it on air," because I was technically the first person to wear that shirt on air.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. I wore that shirt on air, and then he gave me one on that flight, and I was flying to LA to do an interview with Halle Berry. I remember the very first, I wore that shirt in front of Halle Berry, and they played the interview back. And I remember people started calling the station about that shirt. And so then I called Chase and was like, "Man, people love this shirt, dude." And then we had Chase on. I had him on. He did a segment, and then like the rest was history. So that's what I'm saying. You never know. Because he looked like he was 12 when I first met him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now he looks 15. But if you're
Yeah,
listening,
exactly.
Chase, I'm just
Yeah.
messing with you. He's a friend
Nice,
as
great
well.
guy.
And
Chase,
for
Chase and
those,
his wife, beautiful people.
yeah, and for
Beautiful
those
people.
that don't know, if you live in Kansas City, you see the
Charlie
KC
Hustle.
heart everywhere. Charlie Hustle. If you don't, we're one of those cities where we all wear KC stuff, and we're not tourists. So that's the way it goes. Even if Shawn today is wearing an LA hat, repping a little bit of your last home, your temporary home. You spend a
You
lot
know
of
what?
time there.
It's my second. I would say it's my second. Yeah, I know. It's second nature at this point. It's my second home. I got on my LA hat, and I got on my black Wicked hoodie because I'm like, it got shut out at the Oscars yesterday, man.
It's a protest.
It's not. No, it's actually keeping me very warm.
Yeah, need hoodie. Cold today in Kansas City. Okay, let's get to my 4 final questions. There's so many different places I can go
Okay.
with this. Before I talk about the Oscars, let's talk about just your endeavors as well. I know you'd love to be up on that stage one day, right? I'm sure you've been to the Oscars a million times, but
I have been to the Oscars. Yeah, I would love to be on that stage. I actually got a project up my sleeve right now that I think could get me there. So I got a good buddy by the name of matter of fact, we had a phone call about it today. I got a good buddy by the name of Gil Robertson, and we got a project that's very Oscar worthy.
all
Yeah,
right.
but
So
stay
stay
tuned. Stay
tuned, as
tuned.
they
Stay
say
tuned.
in the
No, I would
business.
love to be up on that stage. I would absolutely love it. I would be over mesmerized, but I would love it.
And I would love to see that one day. I'm one of those guys that it's become harder. It used to be that when the Oscars came out, my wife and I would make sure that we went, and if we hadn't seen it yet, we saw every single one. Now it's like, oh my gosh, we've only seen 2 out of the 10. Or we used to like to go to the
AMC thing. where they show all of them.
Or some of the smaller theaters would do the documentaries.
Yeah, the documentary shorts and animated shorts. Yeah,
Yes,
those
and
are fun. Those are fun.
just fun. You go in there and watch 5 shorts, and that's fun. But I love, my wife's the same way, and I don't know what it is. I don't know that it's the glitz and glamour for me. I just love those awards. It's just fun
I
to
know they're
watch. Yeah,
controversial. It's fun. But
it's fun.
before, I know how you mentioned, you said, do I want to go up on stage one day? Before I go up on stage, I need to get Don Cheadle up there first, who's from Kansas City.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Don needs an Oscar.
Yeah, what a great actor. Never
great actor.
Yeah, never met him. Know the history. That leads me to my second question. I ask this question so hesitantly because people ask it to me all the time too, and it's like I don't know where to start. But do you have a favorite, or 1 or 2 or 3 interviews, Hollywood types, actors, actresses? You just mentioned Halle Berry. That I would think would be a lot of people's favorites, at least because she's one of the most beautiful women to ever exist, and a phenomenal actress. But do you have a favorite 1 or 2 or 3?
No, I actually love this question. Look, I grew up in an era where Eddie Murphy was everything.
Oh.
He was 18 years old when he was on SNL, like the funniest person, which is saying a lot because there have been some greats on that show. But in my opinion, he was the funniest person ever on SNL. And then he broke out with 48 Hours, and then he was like genius in Trading Places. And then all of a sudden he becomes mega with the Beverly Hills Cop movies. And then he's Eddie Murphy, man. He's Eddie Murphy. So yeah, the very first time I interviewed Eddie Murphy, I was as nervous as I've ever been in life because it's Eddie Murphy. Like I grew up worshiping Eddie Murphy, then all of a sudden I'm in the same room with Eddie Murphy, and I got to compose myself and create a conversation with this guy that I've looked up to my entire life. So yeah, Eddie Murphy stands out. But I get a thrill from the greats. Like I had an opportunity to interview Kirk Douglas, like Kirk freaking Douglas. I had an opportunity to interview Ruby Dee for American Gangster. It's like Ruby Dee. Like I grew, my grandparents used to talk about Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee all of the time. And I got an opportunity to interview like Ruby Dee. Like it's like that so the greats are insane. And of course the Steven Spielbergs, the Martin Scorsese's, the George Lucases, and the Spike Lees, those are cinematic gods. Like it's like, oh my God, this Steven Spielberg, man, like Jaws and E.T. Like these are movies of my childhood. I'm sitting here, talking to Mr. Spielberg. It's like it's nuts. So I get a thrill from that. And then there are some people who are just like naturally fun to talk to. Like I love talking to Reese Witherspoon because Reese Witherspoon is so genuine and so just normal and charismatic. I love Reese Witherspoon, and then I like talking to someone like the more sort of like insane people like Quentin Tarantino because
that's what I was going to say. You're going to say Quentin Tarantino?
Like man, Quentin can just go on and like Quentin's crazy. And then my all-time favorite person to interview, rest in peace, was Robin Williams because he was just so spastic. Like you walk in a room with Robin Williams and like he's like doing improv for you during your interview. Like he was an absolute man. He was just a whirlwind. He's everything you think Robin Williams would be if you got a chance to meet Robin Williams. Like he's Mork and the genie, and he's all of that wrapped into one. Like he was. Oh my God, I love Robin.
And what a ridiculous run he had of just incredible movies too. Like on top of being one of the funniest human beings, I think, of our lifetime. I mean, go back and watch the clips of him on Letterman, and like, I don't even know when he was or wasn't on drugs because he rode at that level all the time. The 2 comedians growing up who's at this point it was cassette tapes, who I would wear out their live show was Eddie Murphy and Robin Williams over and over. I can still like hear all the lines right now.
Over and over. No, I agree. I did as a kid. I wasn't supposed to. I did dabble with some Richard Pryor records.
I figured you were going to say that.
It was above my I will admit it was above my comprehension. I have since gone back and listened to all of that stuff. But as a kid, it was above my comprehension. But I could instantly connect with Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy.
Richard
Richard
Pryor
Pryor and
and
George
yeah.
Carlin were a
George Pryor. I
little
was
too
just about to say, you're reading my
sophisticated.
mind.
Yeah,
Maybe this is easy. I'm not that smart, but I was going to say Richard Pryor and George Carlin.
they
But
were
you
too
got me.
sophisticated for my young
Yeah,
ears. Like I didn't
yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
them until much later.
Okay, third question as we round the bases. I told you in advance, and I'll go there again. I can't stop. And as you and I are recording this, and as it runs, it'll still be before the Oscars, and the people are listening to it after, you'll know who won or didn't. But I cannot stop thinking about Sinners. I wish we saw it in the theater. I hope it comes back to the theater. But
It's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back soon. I do
we're
believe.
going.
Yeah.
It's got to in advance of the Oscars. But so help me with this. I always know the best films are the ones that you can't stop thinking about. I can't stop thinking about this. I don't even know what genre to put it in. And I don't even know if I want to put it in the one that people are going to say, because I don't want to do any spoilers just in case. But I don't know that I've ever seen a movie like that. And I'm hoping. And by the way, if you're listening and you want to check it out, if it's gory, so if you can't handle that, don't see it. But it is so beautifully choreographed and so beautifully shot. And I don't know. I'm not a film guy. I'm just a consumer. Why do I feel this way? What was so unique about this? Because I think it's one of the better movies I've seen in a long time.
No, the reason why you're feeling that way is because it is truly a unique piece of cinema, and I'm using cinema intentionally. It's not a movie. It's not film. It literally is bigger than that. It's a piece of cinema that really explored a couple of subjects that have never been explored, like the whole allegory. And these aren't spoilers in case anybody's watching who hasn't seen it, but the whole allegory of it all, and the injecting blues and the history of blues into the plot of the film has never really been done. Like, blues is the foundation pretty much for most music. I know jazz aficionados will debate back and forth, like which genre really presented the foundation for country music and rock and roll and hip hop and punk rock and all that. I would argue that blues is the foundation more so than jazz, because blues is the sound that traveled over from Africa on the slave ships to not only the United States, but to South America, the Caribbean, and even the UK. It's all right there. And there's never really been any exploration of that sound into this music. And the way that it's done and incorporated into the plot without the movie becoming preachy or over educational was brilliant. And I also like to say that director Ryan Coogler put some sugar in the medicine, because the film also deals with Jim Crow and segregation and that whole thing without being heavy handed. But it's also one hell of a story. Like the journey of the two twins, and the backstory and the things that set the plot in motion are very entertaining and interesting. And we haven't even gotten to the fact that this is technically a horror movie about vampires,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I just thought was brilliant. But I mean, Michael B. Jordan's performance playing two different characters was just, phenomenal. The way it's shot, the way things go into motion, because it isn't forced. It is a very deliberately paced film, because it does take its time getting to the part of the where are the vampires, which I thought was great, because I like deliberate story. To tell me a story. It tells a story. Like it Sinners actually felt the way Bob Kendrick tells stories about the Negro League. Like it has that feel as it takes us along on the journey of these two twin brothers and their return home to the Mississippi Delta, and how they want to capture their piece of the American dream by becoming entrepreneurs. There's a lot to it that made it a great film, and you've never really seen a film structured the way it is, and the score is just
Oh,
out of this. The score is, but Ludwig Göransson Look, John Williams is a genius. Hans Zimmer is a genius. But Ludwig Göransson won an Oscar for Black Panther, and he won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. You cannot find two movies as opposite as Black Panther and Oppenheimer, yet he's able to create music that's perfect for both. But what he did with Sinners out tops both of those films put together.
It was, I mean, the music, the choreography, the dance. Like
Yes.
somehow they managed. I know we're not giving anything away, but somehow they managed to have these like ridiculously choreographed scenes while there was unbelievable amounts of gore and violence going on all simultaneously. I just had never seen anything like it before. And you cannot label this a vampire movie, but I would just say to people this: if you can't handle a lot of gore, then fine, it might not be for you. If you're not a vampire movie person, you still should see it because it's not a vampire movie. It's really not.
It's really not. It's not. It's like I said. It's a beautiful work of art. The cinematography is gorgeous. Like you, it really the film sucks you into that world in such an incredible way. And the film, like stick around to the end. The film has the absolute best post credit scene ever. Like I'll stop there.
Yeah, stop there. As soon as it comes back to the theater, I would assume that'll be in February. I will go, my wife and I'll go, and we will see it. Final question as we round the bases. I like lists. Who doesn't like lists?
Okay.
So since it is Black History Month, since you are opening the Black Movie Hall of Fame here in Kansas City, number one Black film of all time.
That's easy. This is my opinion. But I would say it all starts with Spike Lee's 1989 classic "Do the Right Thing." There's a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a great film. Number two, it's an important film. Sadly, it's a film that's still relevant in 2026. I know that's a long time. 1989 was a long time ago, but it's still relevant. But as a piece of art, it's one of the most creative movies you can ever watch in your entire life. Like the writing is just dead on. All those characters feel authentic. The cinematography by Ernest Dickerson is just super. Like you feel it. Like it takes place on the hottest day in Brooklyn. Like that movie, you could watch that movie at during any season. It will make you sweat. You feel the heat. You feel the angst. You feel the anxiety and the music, the way it's incorporated into the film with the use of not like contemporary music, jazz, hip hop. The whole thing is just it's a microcosm of modern day life of Black people in the United States of America. It has it all. It deals with gentrification. It deals with segregation. It deals with racism. It deals with, the police. It deals with all these issues. So it's so well done. Look, it was not nominated for Best Picture. Spike Lee was not nominated for Best Director. We get that. You can't go back in the past. The starting point. That is the starting point. Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee's 1989. I know people overuse the word, but it is a true masterpiece.
To me, and I'm not an expert, but the wheelhouse in terms of time was good for me at my age. So it was either that or the other one to me that just I could never stop thinking about involved Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Boys in the Hood, which came a little bit after, but that to me was a huge movie too.
Just a couple years, not that far after, just a couple years after. But no, Boys in the Hood is a very important film. Rest in peace, John Singleton, who became the youngest person ever to be nominated for Best Director for the film. Boys in the Hood was, man, so poignant. I still can't watch that movie without tearing up. And that's another movie that sadly is still relevant today. I mean, Jesus, like
shouldn't be.
Man.
It shouldn't be.
It should not. No, neither one of those movies should still be relevant, but they both are. They just
almost makes them more poignant, though. That
it does. No, 100. No, 100. No, 100%. Yes, and that's the thing I always preach about film and cinema is like the best movies are like fine bottles of wine. Like you gotta let them just sit and breathe. And as time goes by, is when you determine how great a movie is. Like I love the Academy Awards and the Oscars like anybody else. I just think what they should do is like do like the Hall of Fame. Wait 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Because no time changes a lot of things. Like, but I do think though, Sinners broke the record with 16 nominations. I do think Sinners will be a movie that we talk about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now. And I don't think any other movie that came out in 2025 will be.
Yeah. I hope that it wins. I know there's some good competition. I hope Michael B. Jordan wins.
Yes.
I know they're saying that Timothée Chalamet might, and he was, by the way, he was great too in one of the most deplorable characters that you could ever play.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, I didn't like that movie. You didn't like the movie because the guy was a bad guy? Yeah, I didn't like. Well, he did a good job with it.
No. You can't say you don't like a movie because you don't like the character, because the character was supposed to be that way. I hate when. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah. That's an inaccurate assessment of his performance. No, his performance great. He just played despicable. Just like Leonardo DiCaprio was despicable in Catch Me If You Can, but the movie was great. Wesley Snipes was despicable as Nino Brown in New Jack City, but the movie was great. So you can't use that.
A good movie is a good movie, and a great movie like Sinners. I can't wait to get back and see it in the theaters. I cannot wait.
If you can, and if you can, the IMAX format is like I don't know if it's coming back on. I mean, I got.
If it is, I'll see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the IMAX format is just like it will. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
And more significantly, so excited for you and everyone involved in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Can't wait to see that, to come check it out and to see all the success and all the impact that it makes with the storytelling and chronicling the history.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And also, if you get a chance, like, I think we're going to do a small exhibit during Black History Month. So if you want to check that out, we're going to give people a small glimpse of what it's going to look like at the Black Archives of Mid-America. So, we just want to, we will make sure people understand what we're doing, and hopefully they'll get behind it and support it. But we're super excited about coming online in the 18th and Vine Historic Jazz District. I can't wait. There's so many different elements of improvement happening in that area. It's super exciting. It really is super exciting to be a part of it.
If you're in Kansas City or you're coming to Kansas City, go check that out. The Black Movie Hall of Fame, Shawn Edwards' big project, and he's had plenty of projects in terms of cinema and movies, and something else that is lingering that we'll find out about at some point. You know what? One of my 4 questions, but I got too carried away with the movies, which is okay. So I'll just thank you for your service, second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. So you've done it all. But right now, I know that you are living these dreams out, and it's so cool. I've been a fan of your work.
That's the one thing that blows people's mind. I was like, I got a little, man. It's like you hit certain periods in life, and you just want to redirect. And I got to the point where it's like I needed to redirect, and going into the Army was one of the best things I ever did. Like, it taught me a lot of things on a lot of different levels, but the most important thing was I do believe it made me a better leader. And it gave me a better appreciation for a lot of things. Like, I actually think, I know I might be in the minority though. I actually think that, every young person should serve at least a couple of years in the military, because I definitely think it would give people a whole different perspective on a lot of different things.
Well, I never did, but I'm around so many that did, just with, you're around sports and you get to meet so many people, some of the best leaders, the most disciplined and all that. That I know. We recently had on a retired 3-star general who was in command of a base that his great-grandfather was stationed at, but he was in the labor camps. They wouldn't let them fight. I mean, it's the same story. It's the same story as the movies, the same stories as sports. So that's a whole nother discussion. Shawn, good luck with everything. I'm really appreciative of you coming on. I've been a fan of your work from a distance for a number of years, listening, watching, and all that. And so we could do this forever, because I could talk about movies and cinema forever. So I really, really enjoyed doing that. And good luck with the Hall of Fame.
I appreciate it. When we get it all done, I'll give you that personal tour. And congratulations on all the work you do for the Negro Baseball Leagues Museum. I know you guys got some big plans ahead, as well as we become neighbors in the 18th and Vine Historic Jazz District.
Yep. The Best of Neighbors, much more coming ahead. Shawn, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
It's around the bases. Everybody knows Joe Goldberg.